Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Live, a show on myself, Dan Selcke, editor of WintersComing.net, and Josh Hill, editorial director of Fansided.com, editorial overgod. Talk about all things Game of Thrones, fantasy, sci-fi, but let's be honest, today it's going to be all about Game of Thrones because some big stuff is happening.
Yes.
This past week, some huge news dropped, and we have the Emmys coming up. It's going to be a good show. Josh, how are you feeling?
It's always a good show, so I'm feeling very good.
You know, 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, we'll see. I got demoted, though, since last time. I was editor-in-chief, according to you, last time. Now I'm just an editor overlord.
I had a plan.
I'm not moving in the right direction here.
To give you a new title every single show to see if I could do that.
It's a good running
like
bit.
Editorial overgod.
I mean, I'm here every week for a Song of Dan and Josh. So.
I know. I could totally do it. I have to think of something. Like, editorial ubermensch. Editor master, you get the idea.
I do. Julie says, yay, we're here.
Woo, we are here.
Yes, and we also have Diane. She says hello from Scotland.
Hey, Diane from Scotland. Hello. Okay.
Ooh, I was going to say, should we do Scottish accents? But that might be offensive, and then you just went right into it.
Offensive, but I enjoy it so much.
It's true. Scottish accents are pretty awesome.
All accents are pretty awesome. South Africa, I can't do that. Anyway, okay, let's talk about this.
Let's go.
Okay, the big news, obviously, this week is HBO is making they are close to a pilot order for a second Game of Thrones prequel series.
Yes!
I mean, that is exciting.
It is exciting.
HBO has been very kind of cautious with this. Like, I said before, like, if Game of Thrones was on AMC, we would have had like 2 to 3 prequels on the air already by this point.
Yeah.
But HBO waited toward the end and only ordered 1, which I mean, like, and that might not even go. I mean, I know the executive said, like, maybe we'll only have 1 go, maybe we'll have more than 1. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Playing hard to get.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I believe that, but I think they've been cautious enough that this doesn't feel yet like they're just doing it for doing it sake, for bloat's sake. And the show, no title yet, although George R.R. Martin, this guy cracks me up, he went on his little blog, his not a blog, and just like wrote 800 words, just like teasing little, and like being really kind of like blatant about it. Like, I can tell you, but I'd have to kill you. It's not the obvious title, like doing really kind of jerky things, honestly. Funny. But I imagine HBO executives have to like just bang their heads against the wall all the time with him because he's always like leaking out this stuff.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
it's his thing, so
it is his thing, and he is involved. The show is based on his fake history book, Fire and Blood, of part 1 of which is out right now. A fake history of the Targaryen dynasty, starting with Aegon's invasion of Westeros 300 years before the show starts, and ending at the end of the Dance of the Dragons, the Targaryen Civil War. That happened like 150 years before the show starts. And that's volume 1. It's volume 2 coming on the way.
Ooh.
Basically, there's 300 years Targaryen history before the show starts, before Daenerys is, over there doing her thing.
Yeah.
And the new show will be about something in there. So I guess the first question, let's go ahead of ourselves. What do you think about this, Josh? What's your reaction to development?
To getting a potential second Game of Thrones
a potential Game of Thrones prequel, this time something to do with the Targaryen family.
I mean, we'll see if it actually happens. Like, a lot of these things get brought up, and I don't necessarily know
close to getting a pilot order.
Yeah, we don't even actually have a pilot order at this point. It's a good idea, and the idea of having more Game of Thrones makes a lot of sense, because, like, look, this show wasn't going to go anywhere. It's such a cash cow. HBO wasn't going to kill it.
No, I mean, they already, they've shot a pilot for the first prequel.
That was
filmed it.
Is that one Blood Moon? What is that one called?
That is Blood Moon. That's the one that set, that one set thousands of years before. Yeah. Like, way back. There are no Targaryens, no dragons, no Lannisters, really. It's just primordial caveman Westeros. This one's way more recent. This is, the Lannisters are around, the Starks are around, Casterly Rock's around, Winterfell's around, the Wall is around. Yeah. And the dragons are coming over and, effing things up.
That should be the tagline. Dragons are here to F things up.
I did.
It's HBO. They could probably say the actual word. But
They could.
There was, for years and years and years and years and years and years, just the singular Star Wars saga. And then Disney got the rights. And even George Lucas wanted to do this before Disney got the rights. And now we have Rogue One, which doesn't fit inside of this 9-episode series. We have Solo, we have the Mandalorian TV series, and then we had like, even before Disney got it, we had the Knights of the Old Republic game. So like when you have something like Game of Thrones, which is very Star Wars in its franchise-ness,
very much so,
it's always going to exist in some way, shape, or form. We've done the books, we had the show, now we're going to get the prequels. It feels like those are also like the growing steps that you have to go through, because like Star Wars had their prequels.
It does.
And they went through their book phase, and then they had the movie phase. So this is all leading to, I mean, we could have, I'm standing firm in my belief that we are one day going to get a Game of Thrones sequel movie. We are going to finish the story, and we're going to get another movie, because you do not have a series that lasted as long as Game of Thrones lasted and made as much money as it made and got all of the awards and all of the hype. You don't then not look at that and say, guess what? If Avengers is making multiple $1 billion at the box office, Game of Thrones is a drop in the hat for $1 billion at the box office. That's cake. You're going to make that easy.
It will be around for a while. Yeah. I have no doubt of that. I mean, again, I'm not sure, like, will we see Game of Thrones theme park? It's possible. They got a Harry Potter world. They got a Star Wars world, stuff like that.
Yeah, all that.
I'm
That'd
sure
be cool.
always be more books. I mean, you do it. I mean, I think they thought of that. But right now it's more TV. And I'm happy it's more TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're still in the golden age of TV. So.
We are still in the golden. Although, it's a question of like, are we nearing the end of it? Like, are things like Game of Thrones going to be the downfall of it? Because like, where do you go from there? Will it collapse back to like smaller stuff? We'll see.
You mean in like, as far as like the scope and scale of the show, like these multi-million-dollar episodes, or just like? I
mean, we're getting way off track here, but I mean, my personal theory is that right now we're seeing all these like giant, expensive shows, like C on Apple TV Plus,
or The Witcher,
or The Witcher, or the
Lord of the Rings show,
Lord of the Rings show with the time. Like, my theory is that everyone wants to do that because they want another Game of Thrones, but like, not all of those are going to succeed, dude. There are going to be some that flop. And then people are going to say, what are we doing spending all this money on this giant, elaborate failure? And we'll go back to like smaller, maybe even like multi-camera things. Go back to the 90s with Friends and Seinfeld and stuff. Anyway, that's the future. Itself. Game of Thrones is kind of the legacy thing that I think can... I mean, I just hope that a couple of these shows catch on. Okay, so the first question I think we have to answer is, what exactly is this show going to cover? Because again, it's based on Fire and Blood, pretty book. That's a big book. That's not like a story. That is a book that it's a fake history book. He wrote a fake history book, for the love of God. I mean, just about like different events.
He should maybe write Winds of Winter, but I'm just saying.
He'd be nice.
Maybe don't work on volume 2 until we finished the last book of Game of Thrones.
That is his plan. So. He's not going to run on 2. Well, I mean, although if this gets picked up the pilot, who knows?
He's going to run with that one.
Anyway, so I guess the two options are, would you prefer it be like an anthology series? Maybe like every season could do a different era. Like the first season could be Aegon's invasion. The second season could be Maegor the Cruel. These don't mean anything to you, but I assure you they exist. The third season could be, Dance of the Dragon, and so on and so forth. Or what I think the other big theory is, I think I like this one a little better. The show will focus entirely on one big event, like the Dance of the Dragon, which is this badass, like very, very detailed Targaryen civil war that happened like 150 years back then. We're talking like Targaryens on dragons versus Targaryens dragons, like aerial dogfights over, like, it's all there. It's all in the text. It's all done. We're talking like betrayals and marriages.
I'm into it.
Sex and violence and like all kinds of gritty stuff. And it would be enough to fill out, and like really rich characters. It would be good to fill out like a show. So which are you into? Which are you into, dear viewers? You think an anthology show, or just drill down on the dragon versus dragon aerial dogfight Targaryen civil war and let's have that be the show?
Well, could that be one of the anthologies?
It could be, like that could be like seasons 4 and 5.
Yeah, because I'm super into the anthology idea, just because as somebody who's not as knowledgeable about Game of Thrones outside of the books and, I mean, the main books and the series, like you are a savant with the history and everything, and a lot of people are.
Sure.
So... And I know very little about that, so it would be very fascinating to dive into that and have like, and it sets it up in an interesting way where you can continue the series. You don't necessarily have to say, and on season 2 of Game of Thrones, you just completely reset the deck and go, okay. So I'm really into the anthology idea. You're really sold it hard with the dragons and
it's a good story,
the violence and the sex and all of the other stuff. But that could be part of the anthology. Because that was nothing if not Game of Thrones' entire thing. Blood, sex, and dragons.
It was. I think I would go with the Dance of the Dragon Civil War thing. I think that's the best story in that book. I think there's enough there for a series. I'm curious to hear what you guys would think. Anybody have any opinions on that?
Would you do a mini series or would you do an actual series, like a limited series?
They're doing a series, so I guess I would have to do a series.
But it's like an actual series, like they'll do multiple seasons. It's not just because the Civil War thing would be cool as a mini series, like a limited series.
It's a pilot order, so I imagine that that's like a whole show, right?
Well, yeah, this would be the whole show. But like, I do like the Civil War idea, and I feel like that would work as like a Chernobyl type of thing.
But then again, I mean, no,
where you capture everything.
It's big, like it's a big story. It could fill like 3 seasons of TV easy. But maybe you're right though. Maybe there should be an anthology angle. But then we have to wait to get to the aerial dogfights.
Julie says she's lost all the comments. We've not lost all the comments, Julie. We have Diane is saying hello from Waukegan. She's in Waukegan, right in our own backyard here. Diane said that we can try our Scottish accents all we want.
All right.
But they will be funny to her and just embarrassing to us because we won't do them well.
Fire and blood. That's not it. Whatever.
It's close. I'll get there.
In any case, so that's one question I have about it, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Like
Julie says, bring on the dragons, and dragons is in all caps.
So yeah, any dragons whatsoever, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing, whether you want an anthology or just like focus on one thing. Or, I mean, Aegon's Invasion is also a great story. That's when Dany's ancestors first come to Westeros and they just wreck everybody and take over the place and build the Iron Throne and build King's Landing. It's a whole thing. That could be a show in itself or an anthology. I don't know. I can see it going either way. The other question is this. Do you think the show this new show, if it happens, so this is close enough in time that there will be overlap. Like, the Iron Throne will be around. King's Landing will be around. Should they try to like make it consistent with the original show? Or is this a thing where you can just kind of like do your own thing? Like my example is here. So the Iron Throne. So the one we all want from the show, the one on the left, it's nice, right?
Okay.
On the right, that is George R.R. Martin says that's how it looks in his books, how he imagines it to look. For example, this. Do you think they should keep to this throne we know because that's consistent? Or is this like a whole new thing? They're just like, we'll just make a cool new throne. Make it different. Claim this show for our own. Don't tie it explicitly to the base show, even though it is in the same universe technically.
Well, I mean, they changed the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars 2 times. So
but like,
it's not drastically.
I didn't notice. I would notice that.
I would notice that too. I kind of like the idea of putting your own, and this is also maybe why I like the anthology idea. I like the idea of putting your own stamp, having different creative people put their own creative stamps on the Game of Thrones. This thing that we are familiar with.
I do too.
Kind of like the Animatrix, where it's like you have these different stories which are all set in this similar universe that we know, but they're told by different artists and they're different interpretations of a story that is familiar to us, but it all looks different.
Yes,
so
of Keanu Reeves' face.
It's true, which is, there are worse things. So also, we are getting comments on YouTube this week, which is brand new. Right. And Jacqueline K says, hi from Maryland. That is our first YouTube comment I think we've ever acknowledged on this show.
All right. And
so
our
there's
first
Jacqueline.
Maryland comment.
Jacqueline from Maryland. Congratulations. And then Leaf Underhill says hi from Vermont. The East Coast crowd is in with us.
Does anybody have opinions on the Fire and Blood show? Although I am thrilled that Vermont and Maryland are watching us. Great states.
Really just Julie. She's jacked up about the dragons.
If anybody has any opinions about because honestly, I would like to hear what do you guys want from this show?
Like likes the idea of doing your own thing.
Okay, good.
All new. All new. All brand new. I like that.
Me too.
Yeah, brand new.
I got some pushback from that. People from I asked on Twitter. Twitter, of course, being the arbiter of all things civil. And people, they were like, keep it consistent. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it close. It would be ridiculous if you didn't. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. I think it'd be kind of fun if they went off in their own direction and had a different looking Iron Throne or just made King's Landing look like another interpretation of what King's Landing looks like, that kind of thing. Anyway, clearly I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it could go. I think it could be very interesting, very big. Honestly, I thought they would do something like this for the first prequel they did. Like, I was kind of surprised when they decided, really? We're going thousands of years back before the wall was built when no one knows anything. There's no connection whatsoever. Yeah, I thought they would go with like something a little more familiar. Like this is basically, to use your language, the Star Wars prequel trilogy of the Game of Thrones world. Only,
okay, that's a dangerous analogy to make. That
I know it is, but just in terms of the mythology,
okay, I got you.
That's what this would be. Hopefully, and I know that prequel trilogy. I don't know how you feel about it. You know, got a lot of blowback back then, still now. Blah blah blah. Hopefully, they would make it in a way people liked it more. But that's basically where we are. Whereas the first prequel they're doing is more like Knights of the Old Republic stuff, like so far back no one cares, or like they're totally divorced. Okay.
Louise Piper says, any hint as to who is leading the prequel, director, writer-wise?
Well, George R.R. Martin is involved, and then Ryan Condal, who has done a bunch of shows. I don't know the names off the top of my head. Like I don't know.
Ryan Condal. The name sounds familiar.
It does. He's like one of those. Colony was a show.
Oh, okay, Colony. I never watched it, but I heard of it.
Yes, exactly.
Which I guess isn't really the most glowing endorsement.
Oh, did he do that like Hercules one where The Rock was like a down to earth Hercules? Yes, he did.
The Rock was in a Hercules. The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The movie, yeah.
Gotcha.
So Ryan Condal, Colony was supposed to be pretty good. Oh, he did that. He did Rampage with also The Rock. He likes The Rock. The Rock could play like Baldo Targaryen.
Oh my God. The Rock in Game of Thrones. That is a fusion of so many interests. We need this to happen. Please.
Okay, so Ryan Condal's friends
HBO executives who we know are watching this show, please make it happen. Please put The Rock with his best friend Ryan Condal.
I didn't even consider that The Rock could be in this show, but if Ryan Condal's making it, The Rock will definitely be in this show. Okay, I'm pretty psyched.
Me too. I'm even more psyched. I'm like siphoning off your enthusiasm. I'm like, here we go.
So there is a lot more to talk about, though. We do have to move on, because really this is quite a packed week. Okay, the other big topic this week, unless someone else comments, are the Emmys.
Yes.
They're happening.
They are.
They're happening. The Creative Arts Ceremony already happened.
Yep.
And Game of Thrones won 10 freaking Emmys at that one.
What's the total at now?
57.
That's
most
unfair.
awarded in drama. The only ones ahead of it is Saturday Night Live with 65.
That doesn't count. That's been on for 8,000 years.
If it wins every Emmy, Game of Thrones, at the prime time this Sunday, it will be one shy of Saturday Night Live.
That won't happen. We can get into that when, because I have strong thoughts about this.
Okay, let's just do it.
Of which you probably won't be pleased with.
First of all, we're really fast. I can write us people who won at the Creative Arts Emmys. They won for music composition and sound editing, sound mixing, outstanding casting. I mean, it's so sad. Like, those things are all really important, but I just want to talk about the actors.
It's true.
It's just the way it happens.
Can't blame you.
But congrats. And sorry for Carice Van Houten didn't win as Melisandre for Best Guest Actress, but you know what happens.
Thoughts and prayers.
Okay. Thoughts and prayers. This Sunday, the primetime Emmys are going on Fox, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Yes. All right. Let's go through some of the categories people are up for, or we can tell them what you think about them. All right. Outstanding lead actor in a drama series. We got Kit Harington. We got Bob Odenkirk as Jim McGill in Better Call Saul. Jason Bateman in Ozark. Billy Porter in Pose. And two folk from This Is Us. Sterling K. Brown and Milo Ventimiglia.
Oh, This Is Us. I forgot that was a thing still.
I'm predicting Sterling K. Brown.
You're picking Sterling K. Brown to win this award?
He won before,
category?
And my thought is the Emmys like inertia.
That's true. So I'll just get into this now because I took notes for this.
This one I think is like pretty simple. I don't think Kit Harington will win. I like him. I like Kit Harington. I'm not sure he stood out quite enough to win Best Actor.
No, and because I need to address the idea that it seems there's growing sentiment with people. I don't know if they're not paying attention or if this is just kind of like groupthink. But the idea that a show as important as Game of Thrones' final season is going to like sweep the Emmys. It's going to be like the thank you, like how they give. I mean,
couldn't it?
No, it couldn't, and I'll tell you why.
Okay,
because Mad Men won how many Emmys for its final season?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It won one for John Hamm. It didn't even win Best Drama. Game of Thrones won that year for Best Drama. The Sopranos final season, which we could argue The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones are the three most important drama shows of the last 20 years. As far as influence, as far as pop culture importance. Sopranos final season. James Gandolfini, he lost to James Spader for Best Actor in a drama.
In the Blacklist?
No, for Boston Legal.
Boston Legal? Really?
Yes. Edie Falco lost to Sally Field for Brothers and Sisters.
That was fun.
So you didn't win Best Actor and Best Actress for that. They won Best Drama. Alan Taylor won Best Director that year for The Sopranos. Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah.
But they only won 3 Emmys in their final season. Breaking Bad won 5. The West Wing won 1.
That is fun.
Friends won 1 for Christina Applegate's guest appearance in one of the episodes. None of the main people won. And, The Wire famously was never honored by the Emmys. And The Office's last 3 seasons was not nominated for anything.
I think Game of Thrones is a little different. I really do. I'm sorry. I think it did
more so than Breaking Bad and Sopranos? Because those are the two
for the industry, yes. I think Game of Thrones made a lot more money for Hollywood than any of those did.
Okay.
I think that matters. And also, how do you get around things like there being for example, the Best Supporting Actress category? 4 out of the 6 freaking nominees being Game of Thrones actresses.
I think that one's going to be one where we see a Game of Thrones. Because it's the stack.
Is that absurd?
The deck is stacked. It is absurd. Gwendolyn Christie is
that
still
did
my
not
pick for that.
happen at the last season of Mad Men or the last season.
It did, but those are also
Sopranos.
this is also an ensemble cast in a way that Mad Men wasn't. It really was just John Hamm. Elizabeth Moss lost to Viola Davis that year, which is fair enough.
Sure,
but it also lost. Mad Men lost in writing and directing because I also think that Game of Thrones is an important. I mean, the directing it speaks for itself. It's a well directed show. The technical aspect of that, it's also well written. Mad Men, which is also one of the most well-written shows in the last 25 years, lost to Game of Thrones. It lost writing and directing in Game of Thrones.
That was the 5th season thing, yeah.
Do you know the episode?
Of Game of Thrones?
Yeah. That beat Mad Men's?
Mother's Mercy, I think.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, it's Mother's Mercy.
You looked it up. Great.
I did.
I was here when it happened.
I know, but I'm just pumping up your expertise.
Gotcha.
But
that's one of Cersei's walk.
That's true. But Game of Thrones, I think, is comparable to The Sopranos and Breaking Bad as far as the importance to the industry. Because I think that those shows they're torchbearers for the golden age of television.
Yes.
You think Sopranos, and you think Breaking Bad, you think Tony Soprano, you think Walter White, and you think Game of Thrones, Jon Snow, dragons, Daenerys.
Tyrion, all of them.
So it has all of that same clout that those two shows had, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna clean up at the Emmys.
It doesn't. It also had. I'm sorry. It just had a bigger audience base and it had a lot more money.
That's
it made
true.
so much money. Dude.
I think it's a lock for drama.
Oh, totally.
For sure.
I think Emilia Clarke might be able to pull out a win for Best Actress.
Of those two, you're putting your money on Emilia Clarke?
I don't think Kit Harington will win.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think so. I think Emilia Clarke could.
I think she will. Because I think not only is this going to be for all of the seasons, because she was kind of the star of the show.
Yeah.
Even though Jon Snow...
And she carried this last season a lot.
Yeah.
She was generally very good.
Jon Snow and Kit Harington are synonymous with the show, but Daenerys and Emilia Clarke are probably more important. And also, and I don't want this to sound bad for Kit Harington, but I feel like she has a better film career ahead of her than Kit Harington does. And this is going to be kind of a launch into that.
Yeah.
She's in a new movie with the guy who directed Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
It's like a British Christmas comedy.
Last Christmas.
Yeah.
Inspired by the songs of George Michael.
It's a perfect intersection of my interests.
She's very, very fun. I like her. I'm sure. I think she could win.
I think so too.
What about outstanding supporting actor? So we have 3 Game of Thrones guys in it. We got Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Jaime. We got Peter Dinklage, Tyrion, who's won 3 times.
It's
again Inertia, and we got Alfie Allen as Theon.
It's Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of would hope that Coster-Waldau could win because I've loved his performance. I loved Jaime throughout the whole thing. I think she deserves it. But I mean, just the Emmys go by inertia, and I think Peter Dinklage will probably take it just because that's what they do. And I mean, there are other folk in there, but when there's 3 people from your show, I don't know how you beat that. Unless, do you think that they could split the vote? Is that possible?
What, and somebody else wins because the vote is split?
In the Best Supporting Actress category, where there was Lena Headey, Gwendolyn Christie, Sophie Turner, and Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
And then 2 other people, Fiona Shaw from Killing Eve and Julia Garner from Ozark. Is it possible that they could just split the Game of Thrones vote and go to someone else? No,
I don't think so. I don't think that we're going to see anybody other than a Game of Thrones actress win that category.
I really hope we do.
I mean, I don't because
it'd be a first win for any of them.
I think Maisie Williams, Sophie Turner, Gwendolyn Christie, Lena Headey, that is where if we're talking Emilia Clarke is important to the overall show. those characters and those actresses put in a lot, and that deserves to be honored in some way. And
in some way, they're as iconic as
absolutely like
as Emilia Clarke. I mean,
specifically Maisie Williams.
Aria, yeah, Maisie Williams completely. I think
like, that's who I want to win.
If she wanted to.
That's my pick, Maisie Williams. I didn't even highlight anything when I was trying to make my picks because I was like, I can't.
Maisie, I mean,
it's a real Sophie's
this one
choice.
really tears me up because I mean, I'd love to see Maisie Williams win. That'd be great. I'd accept it. I feel like in my heart, I want Lena Headey to win.
I think so, but she's at the bottom of my power rankings of people that could possibly win this.
Like, she's been nominated before.
She has.
So has Maisie Williams once. And they didn't win. But I feel, I think she had the stronger acting over the entire arc of the show. And if we are in legacy award mode here, I think she should be the one who gets it because she's been tremendous. And I mean, I wouldn't be mad if Gwendolyn Christie won either. I think she's had a very, very good year. For some reason, I love Sophie Turner. I think she has the least chance, just because I don't know. She didn't have like a flashy performance like the other three did.
She didn't, but I feel like Sophie Turner is going to win the Emmys. She's not going to win a Emmy, but she's going to be the talk of Twitter because she's going to be there with Joe Jonas, and she's going to be on the red carpet. She's probably going to have a fantastic dress. Her jewel, she's going to have her jewel on the red carpet.
I like
She's going to win the pop culture-ness of the Emmys. I don't think she's going to win an actual Emmy.
Every single one of them is presenting, by the way. All these actresses who are nominated are presenting. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a group or like individually or what, or in pairs, but they're going to do it. It's going to be a really Game of Thrones-tastic night.
It should be. I'm trying to see who in the chat is giving us their Emmy predictions.
Yeah, if you have any predictions, let us know.
Julie Davies says Game of Thrones has to win a few at least.
Oh, it'll win a few at least. It's got to win Best Drama. I mean, I think you'll probably win Best Directing.
Jacqueline.
I can think so.
Jacqueline says yes to Emilia Clarke. She agrees with us there.
In general, yeah.
Also, Leaf Underhill had some problem watching the show, so he's going to rewatch it when it's re-uploaded. That's dedication because his stream wasn't working. So, shout out to Leaf.
Oh, it wasn't?
Shout out to Leaf Underhill.
Anyway, that is the Emmys, and it's exciting. Should be a good time. You'll be here live, right?
Yes, we'll be live
doing some kind of thing
with entertainment editorial director Shay Corrigan. We'll be live on Wick.
We'll be live on Wick.
Oh, are we live on Wick? You will?
Yeah, we will.
Like the Facebook?
Yeah. Game of Thrones is going to win all of the Emmys.
Be live on everything. It'll win a bunch. I'm looking forward to it.
I think so. I definitely think too. Writing and directing.
I mean, directing, I think it is a lock.
I had down... Okay, so which one then? Because I had down... Where are my notes?
Probably The Long Night.
That's what I had. That was the one where everybody complained about what they couldn't see.
Yes. Which, I mean, I think was valid, but I think...
It was, but it's the battle episodes of Game of Thrones are so fantastically well done.
Yeah, they're really
and I feel like that was a nice chef's kiss into the night.
Or none of this wins, and even the categories that are stacked will just go to other people. I think that'd be pretty funny.
That would be devastating.
That'd be pretty hilarious.
I did have for writing, I put Succession was going to win because I think that Game of Thrones is going to win a lot.
I agree with you. I don't think they'll win for writing. I think Succession does make more sense.
The Iron Throne is the episode that they nominated.
That's the series finale,
and
that's the last one.
I don't think that was.
I mean,
the best
but
episode.
Again, it's this question of like at the Emmys, at the end of the day, like what are you rewarding really? Like, are you rewarding actually the best whatever, or are you rewarding the show for its contributions to, television?
Right, which is again to wrap that up. My point about Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Breaking Bad cleaned up because that was like a thank you for basically confirming the whole Sopranos anti-hero thing, or like being the most important golden age television show
Breaking Bad,
outside of Game of Thrones. But like that is like the textbook. It's a drama. It's on AMC. It's not on network cable. It was like perfect storm. Whereas the Sopranos won drama and it won writing and directing, which are two very fair categories to be like, you did this very, very well your entire run. So
I think Game of Thrones will win drama.
Yes.
I think it'll probably win directing.
Yes.
I predict at least 2 actors will win. I don't know which ones exactly.
The only categories I don't think it's going to win are
writing
and best actor.
I
think it wins all of the other
major
categories.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the Emmys before we move on?
No, I'm excited. I
am too. I haven't been excited for an Emmys in a while. This actually has some interesting stuff in it, some stakes. Look, there's a ton of news today. I'm going to go through really, really fast some highlights. Okay.
Excuse me, what?
Funko
Pop movie is happening?
It's from the folk who did the Lego movie. You know, I'm shocked it hasn't already happened.
Look, if we have an Angry Birds movie and an emoji movie,
Lego movie.
Come on. The Lego movie was actually really good.
The Lego movie are making Funko Pop movie. The Lego movie people.
So I'm into it, unless they get fired for, like they did on Solo.
Yes. Amazon making Lord of the Rings series in New Zealand, of course, because they got to. And Amazon's Wheel of Time show begins production with this lovely cast. Now, they're really gunning to be like the next Game of Thrones. Like, it's a huge freaking book series, like 14 books of like fantasy nonsense. And they're going to try to just like plug that hole in a big way. We'll see what happens.
I do like Rosamund Pike.
Me too. Yes, she is an excellent Oscar nominee. She was chilling in that movie I saw her in, where she was a conniving wife. She was the Gone Girl.
She was the Gone Girl. She was also a Bond girl.
Which one?
Die Another Day.
Was she really?
Yeah.
I'm
maybe it's just because I'm a James Bond nerd.
You clearly are. I didn't think about that.
When Gone Girl came out and she's getting nominated, I'm like, oh, she was a Bond girl, because everybody's like, oh yeah, she burst on the scene in like 2006. It's like, no. She was a sword wielding badass in Die Another Day, and she got into a fight on a plane that was crashing from heat from the sun because of some huge diamond thing. She was fighting Halle Berry. She got into a plane fight with Halle Berry. She lost, but
I recall thinking Die Another Day sucked.
There you go.
When I saw it back in the day.
It was not good.
That song.
Yep. James Bond surfed. 60-year-old Pierce Brosnan was surfing.
That song was awful.
Oh, Madonna did the song.
Yeah, it was not a good one.
It was tough. Rosamund Pike, though, she was good in that. She was good in Gone Girl. She'll be good in the series.
And those are the quick highlights of other things that aren't Game of Thrones news. Who the hell cares? Okay. Now.
This is everybody's favorite segment.
Which one? The other stuff?
No.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff to cover this week. Okay, I had to go through it quick. All right, and now got some of the news out of the way. Let's venture in and settle down a bit. We're very excited about A Song of Dan and Josh, the show where myself and Josh walk through each and every chapter of George R.R. Martin's as yet unfinished fantasy magnum opus. We are currently reading A Clash of Kings. We're about a third through, and a little over a third, and 2/5. And today we are talking about, I gotta get it right. Well, here, I'll do the math. No, today we are talking about Jon III, the third Jon Snow chapter. Okay. I'm trying to come down from the first manic part of this
I feel like
episode.
If somebody's like listening to this on the podcast, they think they accidentally like switched it to like
NPR
1.4 slower or whatever it is. You can adjust the speed.
I was very manic the entire first half of the show. I'm trying to come down a bit. By the way, yes, we are available to in podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. If you want to listen to us and get freaked out with us and excited during your commute. Okay, so what happened in this chapter?
Lots of stuff happened. We had... Well, not a lot happened, but there was a lot of context. We got more references to the White Walkers.
We did.
It also made me think of the scene in the show where the baby gets turned into a White Walker, because we're referencing
that is the baby.
Yeah, we're referencing like the babies that are going to go to the cold gods. I think that they were called the cold gods or something like that.
Gilly calls them the cold gods, the ones in the night, the white shadows.
That's excellent. Wasn't Scottish, but
that's my Gilly impression.
I know it was Gilly, and also hello Gilly. We have Gilly in this chapter
and Craster. So this is Jon. He's still beyond the wall.
Craster's Keep.
Craster's Keep, which I wanted to read the description because I like the description of Craster's Keep they had. So okay, this is Jon beyond the wall. They're going to find what the hell is up beyond the wall. Why are all the wildlings disappearing? Why are people disappearing? Why are they vanishing? And they're hitting up Craster, who is a daughter marrying, incest loving, son sacrificing weirdo.
Yeah, some weird like Charles Manson vibes minus the murder.
I mean,
it was definitely like
Charles
a hippie
Manson
commune.
vibes, like if his family had no choice.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was like that hippie commune.
Kind of.
Like, I mean,
it's kind of like this. Jon had never thought to find a stone castle on the far side of the wall, but he had pictured some sort of Motte and Bailey with a wooden palisade and a timber tower keep. What they found instead was a midden heap, a pigsty, an empty sheepfold, and a windowless daub and wattle hall scarce worthy of the name. It was long and low, chinked together from logs and roofed with sod. The compound stood atop a rise too modest to name a hill, surrounded by an earthen dike. Brown rivulets flowed down the slope where the rain had eaten gaping holes in the defenses to join a rushing brook that curved around to the north, its thick waters turned into a murky torrent by the rains. This place sucks.
Yeah. I'm not going there on vacation, that's for sure.
The door to Craster's Keep was made of 2 flaps of deer hide. This place sucks. Mm-hmm. This is just, it's like Leatherface's house.
Yeah.
If the family lived in a snowy place rather than, where do they live? I don't know, the South somewhere.
This is Texas or something like that?
I never actually seen it.
Somewhere.
Anyway, it sucks.
Yeah,
and
big time.
They're here to talk to Craster, who is this. He's a wildling, but he doesn't live like wildlings kind of, they're free spirits. They just go wherever. Mm-hmm. But Craster has a house. It's a crappy house, but he has one. And like you said, it's kind of a Charles Manson thing where he's just, he's living here with all his daughters who he also marries. Mm-hmm. And they're all just very dysfunctional and bad. So why are they going here in the first place? Why do we want this guy's advice?
I don't want this guy's advice. I was creeped
out. Why do the old bear? Why does Lord Commander Mormont? Why do the Night's Watch want him? Well,
we're talking about the wildlings in this chapter too. So it's all about going north of the wall.
Yes. That's how you're doing that. Okay, so they want to go there because they need this guy, as bad as he is. And he is bad. I think it's kind of almost weird how little the Night's Watchmen don't comment on how bizarre he is. John asks, how many wives Craster have? And the one guy's like, more than you ever will, brother. Well, it's not so hard when you breed your own, which is a really flippant way to say he marries his daughters. I know, it's gross. But the point is, he's their recon guy.
Yeah.
He's their guy in enemy territory who knows what's going down.
Yeah.
He knows things that they do not know. They are not wildlings. They are not native.
No.
They need somebody who knows this place. They want to find out where all the wildlings are going, what this King Beyond the Wall is doing. I mean, it's sort of like if U.S. intelligence, if you're a white guy, you can't walk into, a hostile Middle Eastern country like Iran, just go hey, you want any intelligence on you? It's not going to work.
No, it did remind me of drug cartels or trying to getting your inside man and you're man in Juarez or something like that, where it's you're kind of playing both sides. Where you're not in with this guy, you don't want to associate with this guy, but he's giving you the information that you need. So.
Yeah, when they're going away later, I think Lord Commander Mormont just tells John, it would be an ill day for us if Craster died. Your uncle could tell you of the times Craster's Keep made the difference between life and death for our rangers. So basically, they need this guy because he is an actual place they can, I don't know, what do you call take refuge beyond the wall, where it's very, very harsh and very, very scary, and it's full of zombies and wildlings want to kill them.
Yes.
So as bad as he is, they do kind of need him.
Yes. Julie says she would give it a 1-star rating, which is accurate.
If they could do less, I would. Yeah, it's bad. They offer to take Craster south of the wall. Mm-hmm. They're like, dude, things are getting weird here. People disappearing. Why don't you come south with us? He actually refuses.
Yeah, he's I like it weird.
I guess he does.
Essentially.
Is that the reason why he refuses him? He likes it weird?
That's the reason I interpreted. I was this dude's he's in his little hippie commune.
Yeah, I think it's part of how folk get dug in.
Yeah.
Even if he's in a bad situation, at least he kind of controls his own little crappy corner of the sky.
Yeah.
This is awful. I live in a mud heap in where there's no civilization, and I've got a hole of pigs, but it's mine. I'm a godly man, and the gods keep me safe. If whites come walking, I'll know how to send them back to their graves. Though I could use me a sharp new axe. He's bargaining for them to give them an axe. Mm-hmm. They're talking about, so zombie apocalypse is coming, huh? And he's like, I could tell you if you give me some wine. And where are your priorities, man? Which part of that, of course, is that talk about playing both sides. He's kind of a wildling, so he knows them. He's kind of a Night's Watchman because he actually hosts Night's Watchmen in his place, but wildlings don't usually do that. And he's kind of also in league with the damn White Walkers.
Yeah, he's kind of the middleman everywhere. I was imagining in this chapter, in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Terry Gilliam's character, who's like, you have to answer the questions across the bridge. I was picturing that guy as this guy.
Yeah,
I was like, that adds up. Just blind, stupid old guys, but he's like, he knows everything, because it's like his little patch of land where he's the king of the crap heap. Like, it might not be much, but he is the guy that the wildlings go to, that the Night's Watch go to. He's in with like the White Walkers. Like, nobody can be in with them, but like, he's not like afraid.
I mean, he has like a bit of a
weird connection.
Well, what's implied is that he has like an agreement with them. I learned recently what's been called the Iron Law of Institutions. You ever heard of this thing?
I didn't know.
We're going to get sociological on it for a second. It's the idea that once you're in a power structure, your main goal, like you may have gone in like with an intention to, I'm going to use this to better the world, yada, yada, yada. But once you're in, your goal becomes maintain where you are.
Yeah.
So once he's in, I mean, maybe he could do better for himself if he went south and took his wives south, but he's in. You're in a structure. You're not giving up what you have. Like, that's just the way the human brain works in sometimes. I'll come back to you next week with more of my sociological research. Anyway, with the White Walker stuff, so we learn basically that Gilly comes to Jon in the morning.
Yes.
Which, by the way, another really, really pretty passage I want to read because I liked it.
Do it.
When Jon wakes up and he looks around, and it's so gross and disgusting, the midden heap and the pigsty, whatever. Jon says, he wakes up in the morning and says, like, things are kind of pretty in the morning when the frost is there. Every blade of grass was carved from emerald. Every drip of water turned to diamond. Flowers and mushrooms alike wore coats of glass. Even the mud puddles had a bright brown sheen. Through the shimmering greenery, the black tents of his brothers were encased in a fine glaze of ice. What a nice little, kind of contemplative, silent, quiet morning moment, where you see the beauty of this place amid all this crap.
It's the little things.
It's the
small moments that count.
I think it's a very nice moment.
It is. It's actually a very good moment.
Yeah, that give him a bit of a reprieve. And then Gilly comes and like begs me with him because Cress is going to sacrifice my son to evil dark gods. So
the cold gods.
It ends.
Yeah,
but yeah, basically Gilly comes to Jon. It's like, the fat one told me that you were brother to a king and you could take me with you. And he's like, Sam, what are you doing to me? And basically she wants him to take her with them because she is pregnant and it's a son, according to the wife who knows these things. And she says, if it's a girl, that's not so bad. She'll grow a few years and he'll marry her. But Nella says it's a boy. She's had 6 and knows these things. He gives the boys to the gods, the cold gods, the ones of the night, the white shadows. So the implication is he's given his sons to the White Walkers to go be turned into White Walkers himself or something, which is how he's sort of in with the White Walkers, how he's playing 3 different sides of this thing.
Yeah.
The Wildlings, the Night Watch, and the White Walkers. He gets around this dude.
Yeah.
So, Gilly, I guess questions are, what the hell, Sam? Like, should he have offered this? We don't see Sam offering this, but I imagine he like just saw her and she gave him one glance and one smile. He was like, I'll take you with us, is what I picture happening. Should he have offered? Is Jon right to refuse? Just what do you do? Because again, Craster says, don't touch my wives. I will kill you. Like, you're not supposed to do this. And remember, they need Craster. They need him on their side, however horrible he is. But Gilly is, pregnant and desperate and afraid, and her son's going to be sacrificed. What do you do? Jon says no. His attack is, look, I can't. I'm sorry. My boss told me no.
I'm with Jon on this one because, like, what is he going to do? He's kind of playing by the rules here. He has to refuse. And I get it because he's not yet quite in his rebellious, he's not a leader type of thing. No, he
has people over him.
Yeah. So he's got to do this. I don't necessarily know that he wants to do it. He knows that he has to do it.
He says, Sam's heart was as big as the rest of him, fat joke, but for all this reading, he could be as thick as granite at times. It was impossible and dishonorable besides. So why do I feel so ashamed? That's what he was thinking.
That's good.
Yeah, right? That's pretty good.
That was real good.
Yeah.
Emmys.
There
it goes. No, and I also think that Jon, I think he's practical and understands, like, what are we going to do with this? Like, we have a mission. We have to go where we're going and do what we're doing. Why are we going to add to this with somebody who can't help, who is going to end up being probably a burden and is going to either get killed or get people killed because we're trying to keep them alive.
Yeah, and also, if you take them, then you alienate the person you need to shelter you when things get really bad.
And then there's that. Yeah. So there's so many moving parts here that aren't that hard to avoid. Mm-hmm. And Jon is able to do it because he's like, it's the anti-Ned thing where Ned is like, Ned.
His name's Ned. Eddard, yes.
Ned.
Mr. Stark.
He probably would have done the honorable thing and tried to find a way to make everybody happy and do the right thing, which would be, yes, we're going to protect the women and the children. But Jon is able to kind of move away from that and not do that, even though it's in his heart and his soul. He knows what is right isn't always necessarily the thing that you should do. Whereas Ned is literally got killed because he couldn't determine.
Right. Well, I mean, I think there's also a thing. I'm not sure Ned would have done it. Well, then again, no, he probably would have.
I think so.
Jon even brings up to his boss, Jorah Mormont, like he's like, my father said, and Mormont's like, what did he say? And I don't know, I didn't write down the quote, but he said something like, he said that some bannermen aren't worth having, basically saying that, look, Craster is jackweed, and we're better off not having him. And that's when Lord Mormont comes back with, I mean, yes, it'd be bad. He's the world's better off with him dead, but the Night's Watch would suffer for it. We need him as bad as he is. And he says, your heart is noble, Jon, but learn a lesson here. We cannot set the world to rights. That is not our purpose. Mm-hmm. The Night's Watch has other wars to fight. So the idea being like, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to snap your fingers and solve the injustice of the world. But sometimes, according to this little view, the best you can do is to try and affect the change you can within the rules that are set up for you. I think it also has something to do with institutions. The Night's Watch would like to, and I also like that Jorah Mormont does say, like, look, like if I were his wives, there are 19 of them went a Craster, I would just kill him. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd be fine with that, but I'm not going to help him do it because it's not my place. Like, it's not, we need him. And if they kill him and I come back here and he's dead, we'll live with it.
It sucks to suck, but...
What's that?
It sucks to suck, but essentially.
It sucks to suck, yes. So, it is a needle to thread.
It is.
And...
the analogy I was thinking of was... what this guy is like when the FBI has one of like the mob guys, like Jack Nicholson's character in The Departed, where he's like he never ever goes to prison because he's a rat.
He's faking, yeah.
So he's an informant. So that's essentially what this guy is.
Yeah, exactly. He is totally that. And yeah, another morally gray character in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Jen Casey says, you pick your battles.
You pick your battles.
You pick your battles.
Excellent, Jen Casey.
Also, Leaf Underhill says she's never heard of the iron law of institutions before.
That's
new for her.
It's like in like a Wikipedia hole.
It's new for me too.
Sometime on like, I'm pretty sure I phrased it wrong. Maybe I'll get a definition next week. That's about all I had this week. I like Dolores Ed, who's like this.
Yes.
Who is in the show.
I do remember Dolores Ed.
Yeah, he's around. He dies in the Battle of Winterfell, but he's here, and I liked it. Like Martin gives him all these like sarcastic lines. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that the rain stopped the instant I had the roof above me? It will start again now that I'm back out. Gods and dogs alike delight to piss on me. He's like dry guy like that. Mm-hmm. I also like the bit where Sam was about to call Craster a bastard, but then stops because he's with Jon. He's like, he doesn't want to make it awkward. Yeah. And Jon's like, you can say it, Sam. I know what a bastard is. It's fine. Which is a cute moment. Oh, Sam.
Sam.
Why did he offer to take Gilly with them?
Who knows? Who's to say?
Us. We're experts. We're analyzing this.
Who is to say, Dan? It's open to interpretation. Okay. It's like it's a song of ice and fire. All songs, music. It's open to whatever you want it to be.
All right. Well, we can think about how to approach things next week, when we'll be doing Theon 2. And we will see you back here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Winners Coming Facebook page to watch us live. We'll be doing more news, recapping the Emmys, we'll see who wins. I'll be curious about that. Whatever else comes up, maybe some non-Game of Thrones stuff if we don't get crowded out. More Saga, Dan, and Josh. And if you want to catch us on podcast form or on iTunes, Google Play. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.